People always ask me what impact the Beatles had on life. The Beatles changed the culture of this country. In fact, I would say changed the whole social fabric of society in the 60s through their music and in all the arts. I really began with being a news reporter on the Daily Sketch. I moved to the Daily Mirror, and during that process the Beatles came into my target area, if you like, with a phone call from Liverpool to relate that John Lennon had been in a punch-up with his friend, a DJ named Bob Wooler, and that story made the front page, albeit a very small panel. But from there we moved on, and the Beatles became literally one of the big stories of the day.
Hello, I am so excited to be here with the legendary Fleet Street journalist Don Short. Don has had the most amazing career as a show business journalist and columnist, a writer and ghostwriter, and literary agent, and he has just written his memoirs that chronicle his stories of the stars, his journey as a journalist, and everything in between.
Yes, that's true. We call the book, we've named the book The Beatles and Beyond, and it traces the careers of the Beatles and other swinging 60s groups, the Rolling Stones and many, many others. And then we move on to Hollywood, and the stars there, Cary Grant, Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Harris, all of those kind of stars figure in later chapters in the book. Exhilarating years. I don't know if I can live through them again, but we would do our best. But these stories had to be told.
We've made a few videos over the years that we've been writing this book. So if we change clothes during the interview, that will be why, you're not going mad. The book begins with the scoop of a lifetime, the breakup of the Beatles.
Yeah, well, it does. I think it was a rival who missed the story and said it would have been the scoop of a lifetime. And you're referring to the night I broke the story when Paul announced he was going to quit the Beatles. And that story came in from one of my contacts within the Beatle cult, if you like. It made the front page, of course, and then the whole kind of world exploded. And it was at the point I really moved on. They moved on, I moved on, and I was given a new assignment, and that was Hollywood, really. Mm-hmm. And so I soon found myself interviewing people like Gregory Peck and Cary Grant and Roger Moore and a host of others, Bridget Bardot,
Judy Garland, Muhammad Ali,
and of course Elizabeth Taylor. And I became particularly close to Elizabeth Taylor because I'd become a friend of her then husband, Eddie Fisher. And when Elizabeth Taylor was very ill and assigned to the London clinic, I told Eddie how to avoid the paparazzi, and so I became one truly great friend of them both, and interviewed Elizabeth when she was lying in bed at the Dorchester Hotel recovering from her illness, and subsequently had many dinner parties with her and the family. That led me on to when she parted from Eddie and married another contact of mine, Richard Burton.
Mm-hmm. I think a really interesting part of the book is the rich mix of voices. We've got voices from the past and like the recent past, Muhammad Ali, Roger Moore, but we've also got people who you met when they were young, who are still on our screens now. Elton John.
Yes, Elton John. Look at Elton John, enormous success.
Charlotte Rampling.
Charlotte Rampling, yes, she's still going very strong. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those stars are.
Bob Dylan.
And Bob Dylan, of course. Yes, I did a big interview with Bob Dylan at his home, and that will be a major part of the book.
And I mean, throughout your career, you had so many scoops, not just the breakup of the Beatles.
No, I had a contact within the Rolling Stones, and anonymous call came in one night, and it was to tell me that Brian Jones had been found drowned in his swimming pool in East Grinstead, and that led to another major scoop for the Daily Mirror.